Hi, everybody. It's
Hi,
Todd.
everybody.
It's Todd and Jeremiah with Talk Fort Dodge again on a lovely Thursday morning. I see the rain coming down outside, and I actually appreciate the rain. I know the farmers need it. We're starting to get enough that I think we're pulling out of that little bit of drought conditions we have, but it's yeah, much needed. And um, my youngest son has a little German Shepherd puppy, and we watch her all the time. And the grass in the backyard is so long you almost can't see the puppy. So I called my best friend Stumpy this morning and said, "Hey Stumpy, just so you know, last time they mowed the lawn, they forgot to mow the back lawn." So he goes, "We'll get him over there, but it's not going to be today." um,
Stumpy was mowing my yard on Sunday, and I don't think he usually mows on Sunday, but that was like the only nice day for him to do that, and it's starting to look like the Amazon.
Everybody's is. It's great we're getting this much rain and this much sun, and I think that's why we live in Iowa. I don't know if you drove down any county roads lately and seen all the corn coming up and the beans, and it's just so great to see springtime in Iowa and everything's green and beautiful, and that's why we live here.
It is why we live here. And speaking of living in Fort Dodge, the greatest place on earth, um, we have like a crazy real estate going through the entire country from shortage of houses.
Mm-hmm.
And you hear about it in every big major city. And Todd, I know I say all the time, my sister lives in Denver and I talk to her all the time because she wants to buy. And so I get to hear firsthand the Denver market.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy. It's like, well, we're small town Iowa. We don't have those kind of issues, but
No.
we kind of do. We don't have the big, we have similar, but we have a shortage.
Nope.
I'm
Huge.
looking at my screen right now. Todd, we have 38 active listings in Fort Dodge,
That's it.
which on average used to be 400.
Yeah, can you believe that? We're at 10% of what we normally are. It's just, and we are doing stuff here that big city realtors are used to. And I'm going to say big city. Fort Dodge is not the big city, and I think that's why we love it here. But had one the other day where somebody came in over asking, like 5% over asking, and then came back on inspections to get all their money back because they were getting buyer's remorse because they paid too much for the house. So, like, you know what? Come look at the house. Offer what it's worth. And
Yeah.
it's just kind of one of those. We're playing games like big city realtors been doing forever, and now all of a sudden, people are playing that here, and I'm not good at playing those games. I'm just
Yeah. So in Denver, what they're doing is you have $50,000 put down on a house, but that price range is like 450,000, which is comparable to a $150,000 house in Fort Dodge.
mhm,
So you go and you have your 50,000. You're like, yeah, I got my down payment. All of a sudden, the house comes up. They have 60 offers on them, and you're competing with people that are cash. Like
yeah,
15 of them might be cash. But if you have a good, strong conventional loan and you come in, whatever, you're good. Well, what happens is you almost have to come in at 500,000. And what
mhm,
they're doing there is they are having the houses appraised. Then they put them on the market. So it's appraised for 450. Then they're putting in the offers. The sellers are forcing the buyers to put in the offers that you anything that goes above the appraisal value, you have to pay the difference.
mhm.
So people are buying them for $500,000, and then you have to take your 50 and apply it there. So now you don't have a down payment.
Yep. I
That's
was reading
crazy.
was reading a chart the other day that talks about how housing is the most unaffordable that it's been since the 2008 recession. In 2008, housing became, it became super cheap, but of course it was still unaffordable because nobody could get loans, nothing worked. We were in this huge recession, and we're getting back to that point where housing is that unaffordable because it's just going up in price that much and that fast because shortage of housing. I mean, I don't know why it happened all of a sudden, and I've read different theories, but I don't know if I quite agree with any of them. But housing is just rare. I mean, you put your house on the market, it's a seller's market. I'm showing a couple of people houses right now that we're going to find a house and then put theirs on the market. I got it all ready to go. So as soon as we find a house, we're going to get an offer on
Yep.
that. We're going to hit send on theirs. And they're not being ridiculous with their price. And that's something I talk about ahead of time is if you're going to find a new house before you put yours on the market, we're putting yours on the market at value so we can get it sold because it'll sell in a
So
week.
that right there is the biggest difference between a small town Iowa and what's going on in the big cities is we're not getting $50,000 over what the market value is. We might be getting over, but it's like 5,000, you
Yep.
know, maybe
5%
10.
less. Yeah. Rarely you get 10, but it's, people are going over asking, but we, at same note, but we had this discussion the other day, and of course, Jim Kesterson's an appraiser and talks about appraising houses. So you mentioned in Denver, they're appraising houses and then they're coming in over asking. So when you appraise a house, you have to use history to appraise that house. You can't use, current values or what people are asking. You have to use history in order to come up with a value of that house. So it's kind of a unique circumstance right now in that houses are selling for more than that, but we got to find the history to support it. And appraisers are having trouble supporting that. So, yeah. And I've told all my buyers, I'm like, if we're going to go over asking $5,000, you probably want to have that $5,000 sitting in the bank. Not that that house isn't worth it, but the appraiser has to use history to protect the bank to buy that house. So just, beware and, just be educated. And that's one of the reasons you use somebody like me or Jeremiah, but mostly me, to help you buy a house because you kind of have to know these things going into it. Otherwise you're not going to end up with the best deal, and you're going to overpay, and then you're going to have trouble once you go to the bank and do all this stuff. And we take care of a lot of that headache in the first place because this is what we do day in and day out.
And I think we've done shows on inspections, but what good realtors do is when we go through houses and we look at houses, when there's an underlying factor, an underlying issue with the house, I just put an offer in yesterday and it had one of those Federal Pacific fuse boxes. We had to have it switched out. Well, we weren't going to wait for inspections to do that. You write that into the offer, and we went over the siding and there's some other issues that we just kind of wrote them down. Now, those are kind of things that since we knew about them, we were either going to deduct them from the price of the offer and tell them that's why we're deducting it, or have them replace it. And then during inspections, those items are kind of off the table, so now you're looking for other stuff that you and I aren't qualified to look for, and that's proper leaks under the floor or, drainage or how the tub drains slow and
right.
Electrical. You and I will never learn electrical code, like real code. We have 101 in a lot of categories, but
we don't know it all by heart. But you see it. You see the siding's bad on the garage. You see the furnace is 25 years old. You can walk in there and see it's an old what are those Lennox Pulsar furnaces that they put in the 90s. You're like, yeah, that was put in the 90s. I can tell you right now, the inspector is going to say the furnace is 25 years old. We pay attention to that. The water heater, Fort Dodge water heaters last 7 years. The water heater's 10 years old. Trust me, they're going to say something.
Yeah, and when you're with your client, you look at the bottom of it, and if there's no rust at all, you're like, that could be good for a while. This house has a good softener, blah, blah, blah. But on the same token, it's just filled with rust. It's like, let's not wait for inspections to find out. Like, us common sense people know that that's going to go bad in the next year. Let's go ahead and either ask for a home warranty or let's ask for a new one to be replaced. And we put that in the offer, not inspections.
Yep. We get that ahead of time. Nope. Agree completely. So, yeah, I do have to laugh, Jeremiah, because the title of this broadcast is Comedians in Fort Dodge. And we started talking about buying real estate right away. So one of the, I better bring it up 10 minutes into the show here. But the reason we named it Comedians in Fort Dodge is I thought we were going to have a comedian online with us today. And I don't think she got the link right. So Friday, tomorrow night at Shiny Top, we are going to have open mic night. And there's supposed to be between 4 and 6 comedians there. But like Elisa says, they're comedians. And sometimes they're just being funny when they put their name in the hat to say they're going to be here. And they're all driving. I mean, they're coming from Cedar Rapids and Ames and Des Moines, and only 1 or 2 of them live here locally. So just food for thought if you're bored
And
tomorrow
one
night.
of them bought a house yesterday, right?
I know. Favorite client ever. I'll tell you that tomorrow, too. I'll be up there. So this is my favorite. Well, one of my favorite. My favorite client that moved from New Zealand ever. If you put the qualifiers on that.
You probably don't have a lot of New Zealand clients, do you?
No, just one.
Trying to recruit more, though, maybe.
But this speaks volumes to where Fort Dodge has gone. Her and her husband moved here from New Zealand with no jobs. She's from this area, so she knew the area, but they moved here. They knew they wanted to move back here and moved here with no jobs. And both of them, one of them is working now, and one of them is just waiting to start the job after 3 months here. And they're both really good jobs.
Wow.
Yeah, just, it's unreal, the job market here. And you know what? If you like living where you can be anywhere in town in 7 minutes,
Love it.
love it.
I told a client when I was doing a tour one time that if you go to Hy-Vee, you're going to run into 10 people that you know.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, what? And where they were from, they're like, you would never run into somebody in the marketplace is what they called it, And the first weekend they were there, I grabbed some milk, and I saw them there. I was like, hey, I told you know somebody.
I felt like Santa Claus driving home the other day because you ever seen the Santa Claus with Ted, what's his name? Where he's walking down the street and he's like, Billy, you've been naughty, and Sandy, you've been good. You remember that? And I'm driving home from Kesterson the other day, drove by 7 cars, and I knew everybody's first name as I waved on the way by. I was like, that's just crazy. We can live in a town like that where you just know almost everybody. I mean, it's crazy. It's fun. You get a wave, people wave back. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and like if you're out on the gravel roads, if you don't wave, you're rude. Like that's just like
heck yeah,
an unspoken rule to the farmers and whatnot out on the gravel roads.
Speaking of gravel roads and farmers, see a pickup coming down the road. There's 3 guys in the pickup sitting across front seat. Remember the old pickups? How do you know which one is the real farmer? It's the one in the middle. Because the one in the middle knows he doesn't have to drive and he doesn't have to get out and open the gate. One of my stupid humor farm jokes.
Well, if we're going to be doing jokes and farmer jokes, have you heard of the one where the family's driving down the highway and a 3-legged chicken passes them?
No.
Yeah, 3-legged chicken. And all of a sudden there's a group of them. And he's like, what in the world is going on? And he sees that they all like go to this farm. So he just pulls in the driveway because he sees the farmer and wife standing there. And they're like, what is going on? Do those chickens have 3 legs? He goes, yeah, I bred them that way. It's like, why? How? What happened? He goes, well, I have 3 daughters and they all want a chicken leg. And so I decided to breed them so we wouldn't have to, we'd just kill 1 chicken and we all get chicken leg. They're all happy. He goes, wow, are they good? And he goes, well, heck, if I know, we've never caught one. That has nothing to do with Fort Dodge, but it's a great Iowa farm joke.
With comedy, so we got some comedy now. Why do farmers' hats go down on the outside? So they can see in the mailbox, get that check. Those are all jokes, but they're funny.
That's good.
Oh, shoot. Well, I think we had a good discussion today. It kind of real estate, ended it with a little comedy at the end.
Because we are hilarious.
Hilarious.
Just ask us. We'll tell you.
We'll tell you. Great sense of humor. Good looking. Handsome. Great hair.
Todd's always having good hair days.
Awesome. Well, I think we're going to end. We're about 15 minutes into it, and that's probably good for today. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you next Thursday on Talk Fort Dodge.
Bye.